welcome to the Kiwimana Buzz.
Hi everyone, welcome to the Kiwimana Buzz. This is a show where we talk about beekeeping and our gardening adventures, and my name is Gary, and this is the 14th podcast from the team at Kiwimana. This week we're talking about the Whangarei Bee Club, cats, and how to control unruly kids. How are you going, Margaret?
Yeah, good. Hi everyone, welcome to 2000 and what year?
13.
We're following on from our last podcast, which was the 13th podcast. So here we go, another 13. So, I hope everyone had a wonderful festive season and all excited about the coming year. So,
yeah, Happy New Year, everybody. It's so far has been going so good, isn't it?
Yeah, we've been flat out, really. Yeah, lots going on.
Yep, and I actually did a blog post on New Year's Eve just thanking everyone for all their support over the year, and it's been really great. And you can check our show notes, which is kiwimana.co.nz/14 for the show notes on this one. So how's it been going in Kiwimana, Margaret?
Yeah, we've been pretty busy. We launched our online shop, which is awesome. At kiwimana.co.nz. So, yeah, we had very good results, and just thank you everyone for supporting us on our new venture. And the next thing that we're doing is working on, what we're going to be doing over the next coming year, and some new projects that we're going to be working on, and we'll share that with you as we go along, but probably not till the next podcast.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, what about you, Gary?
Well, the last podcast was episode 13, which had a record number of downloads. So thanks everyone for supporting us, and really appreciate all the people downloading and even having a listen. It's been great, isn't it?
Yeah, but we've had so much feedback. It's just been amazing, and our bee buddies are still learning lots. We've been going to visit them. Well, I've been working with a couple of them and visiting their sites and helping them with inspections. And so we've had a very interesting time, and selling products and building products. So I've been getting a bit more experienced in building frames and wiring up frames. So it's all been pretty awesome.
Yep, that's right. And something new that we're going to introduce this year is we've got a few guest bloggers coming along, haven't we? And we've got the first one, we've got Vanessa Drew all the way from Ireland. She's a landscape gardener, and she's going to be doing some blog posts about beekeeping in Ireland and other garden-related issues. So welcome, Vanessa, to the team.
Yeah, welcome. It's awesome. We just love to get some other views from other people from different areas, and really looking forward to how different areas cope with situations, so it helps us in our learning as well. So awesomeness.
Absolutely. And if people want to do want to write some articles for Kiwimana, just get in touch. We're going to have an article coming out soon about how to do that, and we've got one coming up soon, haven't we? Kathy's doing one, isn't she? Which sounds really interesting. It's about it's all about the raw food diet, which is something that's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, we met Kathy and her partner when they came to buy some products of us, and we started talking about the things that they like to do, and they introduced us to their lifestyle, which where they talked about raw food. So we're really interested in sharing that with all of you who listen. And we also have another person coming up to work with us on, a couple of guest bloggers, and they will be talking about organic gardening at home. So, yeah, watch the space. That'll be coming up in the next couple of months. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we're getting people, so it's really great. So thanks, everyone. Keep them coming.
Yeah, that's right. And we're also going to be interviewing some people from overseas too. So on the podcast chats, we've got a group of guys from Utah. We're going to interview them about their beekeeping business. So yeah, if you want to be interviewed on the podcast, get in touch. And if you want to blog for us, get in touch too. And we've also possibly got a big surprise coming up too, with a surprise podcast, which I can't tell you much more at this stage because it's still getting worked out. So watch the space.
Yeah, we got some new and interesting things happening this year. So we're really expanding some of the work we're doing now, and I'm really excited for this year to just get moving, and we're already in coming to February, aren't we? So it's moving along really quickly already.
Yeah, and the season's almost over, isn't it? I mean, you were doing some inspections today, weren't you? And I was building some mesh boards. So how did the inspections go, Margaret?
Yeah, the inspections went well. It was really hot out there today, so I managed to finish one hive, which was Swanson 1, and really good with what's going on there. I'm not sure, but I think we might have had a new queen. She's obviously been mated because she's laying, but she has a very not short abdomen, but not as pronounced as I thought the original queen had. So I'm pretty sure that it is a new queen. But she's got good laying patterns. I opened up cells and they're all looking really healthy. And we have got honey in there and good stores. So, yeah, I'm hoping that we'll have enough for them to feed over winter. So that hive's looking really good. And then I added another box on top, but need to add some extra frames in there as well with wax. So I'll have to deal with that tomorrow. And then...
It's coming up to time where we have to treat them as well, isn't it?
Yeah, I've taken off some drone comb, which I haven't had a chance to inspect yet.
Oh, yeah. We put that on Facebook, didn't we?
Yeah. That's just to show you that it does work, and I'll open up some cells tomorrow and have a look at them. The bees were busy cleaning off the honey, and also took a frame of honey off that one to put in for us to take. So hopefully we'll get a bit of our own honey from that. So it's not been that huge this year. But then I went to the next hive, Whangarei, and that one has one box full of honey, 3/4. So that's awesome.
Wow. So I get some honey in my tea this year.
Yeah, it'll last probably about 2 weeks with you.
No, that's
You've got to feed the addiction.
You do. Yeah, no, that's great. And the photo of the brood comb was actually spotted by the team at Sting in Coromandel, which is Sting Mead, and they spotted it as coming out of our drone management frame.
Ah, very good.
So that's good, isn't it?
Yeah. The beauty of the drone management frame is that there's no wire in it or anything, so you can just cut it straight out and put it back into the hive.
Yeah.
And they just start working it again. And if the hive's full, which if you have one of the kiwimana drone management frames, if it starts to get honey in it, you know that you should have added some extra frames. So part of the inspection would have been, okay, we haven't got enough room for the queen, so that would need to be checked as well. So it's a good guide when you're doing that inspection.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm surprised they're still laying drones, actually, this time of year.
Yeah, there wasn't a great deal. I've seen worse. So,
was there did you notice a lot of drones in the hive? Walking around?
In the second one, I noticed more than the first one. The first one, just going back to that, the bees were really healthy. I didn't see any unhealthy bees with deformed wings, and none of the cells there's no disease, they're just looking really awesome, and that's our Swanson breeding line, really.
Yeah.
And they're doing really well. I did see a varroa on the second one, on one of the frames, when I cut out some drone comb, so I'm going to have a good look at that tomorrow, so I'll probably put something out about that.
Yeah, that I think that hive has got quite a high mite count, so we do need to treat them.
Yeah, I mean, that's the reality of this time of the year. We should be we should take off our honey and treat the hives. And this year there is a bit of risk if you are doing a late honey extraction. with tutu, which is
it's on the Tootin bush.
Yeah, it's called tutu. The toxin is tutin, and it is poisonous. So this year would be a prime time for that to happen. So usually in New Zealand, if that is the case, you would have had to take it off. What was it, before
before Christmas?
Yeah, 31st of November or something.
December.
Or December, yeah. So you would have had to take your honey off then, and then that was before the tutin comes in. So yeah.
So now you need to actually get it tested. By someone like Hill's Laboratory or some other place, and they can test it for tutin.
Yeah.
And in tutins, it's quite a toxic poison, isn't it? Which actually can kill you, can it?
Yeah, it can kill you, or, it can actually there's this story that an elephant had eaten some tutin bushes. When was that? In the 1890s or something?
I think the
1900s or something?
It was a while ago.
Yeah, quite some time ago. Anyway, it killed the elephant, and they found out it was the tutu bush. So, there are risks with it. I think if you're starting off beekeeping, it wouldn't be too unreasonable to think about getting your honey tested. I mean, I know it's about $150 or something, but I think it's worth it, because one of the things you'll find out is what your honey produces, or what type of honey you got, should I say. And I think it is a really good idea to do it. And then at that time of the year that generally you'll have that type of honey. So it's always nice to know what the girls are collecting around your area.
I think that's an extra test, Margaret.
Yeah, well, that's it. I mean, you can do that.
Well, what you might find is a lot of the local bee clubs have a system where they combine a few people's samples together, and that makes it a lot cheaper. So I know the Auckland Bee Club's doing a collection soon for that. So if you remember the Auckland Bee Club, you can use that. But check with your local bee club, guys.
That would be to do tutin testing.
Doing tutin testing, yeah.
I mean, my thoughts are along the line of if you personally want to find out what your girls are collecting in your area, then that's a good way to do it. And it does cost money, but that is an option.
Yeah, that is an option. Yeah. Absolutely. So get out there, guys, and bottle some honey, and post it to. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, and so moving on to the news, there's been some good news this week about neonicotinoid chemicals from Europe, and first news here is insecticides are unacceptable danger to bees. Report finds. This is a report in Europe, and they've discovered that the insecticides with ibuprofen is unacceptable danger to bees. So this is yet another report which is showing that this is dangerous. So what do you think, Margaret?
I think the product that you're talking about is imidacloprid or something.
Yeah.
And that is very toxic.
It's part of a weed killer in New Zealand called Confidor, which is made by Yates. So and the next story moving along is B&Q and Wix are pledged to withdraw products harmful to bees. So that's an English company, and B&Q is kind of like in New Zealand. It's kind of like a Mitre 10 or a Placemakers
or Bunnings.
And Wix is more like a, what would you say that's like? It's like an auto shop, isn't it? It's like Repco or something.
Can't remember.
Yeah, so they've actually pledged to remove these harmful chemicals off their shelves.
I think that's fantastic. And, in Germany itself, they have already taken these things off the market.
Not all of them, but some of them are still on the market.
Yeah, and I think that it really does show you that Bayer are in Germany, and there's not a lot of support for that chemical use, and it really is, I think it boils down to actually being more effective in how you manage your land.
Yeah, I think so. But it would be great if other garden centres out there around New Zealand could follow suit, guys. If you own a garden centre, it would be great to do that. If you need to know what chemicals to not sell, drop us a line. We can tell you.
I think it's really exciting, and I think that if a garden centre in New Zealand would take the lead in doing something of that nature, and saying that is important, and promote bee-friendly flowers and get rid of those chemicals, they will definitely get themselves a higher profile in the market.
Yeah, absolutely. We'd definitely talk about them, wouldn't we?
Oh, I'd definitely, take my hat off to them to do that, because it, I think when you're talking about money, it could cost them. But then if they put things in place to mitigate that, then I think that they will find a good solution. And I think a lot of New Zealand gardeners are really on board with having a really healthy piece of land.
Well, we get a lot of phone calls, don't we, from New Zealand gardeners saying, "Oh, I'd really love to have bees on my site and stuff." And then, I think, well, if you're that committed to bees, then you should be committed to stop spraying stuff, really. So, but probably you find a lot of those guys are, so that's good. Yeah,
I think it's a real balance, because, we've talked about this before, that a weed is really something that you don't want in your garden. So it could be any kind of plant, really. And a lot of identification of weeds in New Zealand are the ones that are very invasive.
Yeah.
So, and whereas in England, the same invasive weed we have here, over in England is a desired plant that the bees love,
Yep, true. And another story from England is a school in England is actually teaching unruly kids how to look after bees. And apparently it's transformed the behaviour of the children. So maybe that, being at one with the bees is actually making the kids more sort of calm down, I guess.
Yeah.
What do you think? Good idea?
I think it's a fantastic idea, and I think that I've watched kids around bees, and they just seem to be like us, transfixed at what's going on, and some of them want to put their hands in there and see what's going on. Obviously can be a bit difficult, but there's a real affinity with kids once they get around that. And I know at the Ranui community gardens, they are connecting the kids with growing food, and they've just got the beehive there, and the kids are absolutely just loving it and fascinated by it. So I think that that's a really good program, and it'd be awesome if we could get that right across the world, getting kids to look after bees and plant gardens.
Yep. And the next story is kind of like similar to a story we heard about in Whangarei, isn't it? About the apparently down in Nelson, there's competition for manuka sites in the Nelson area is apparently causing tension in the area, much like what we've recently heard about the manuka sites in Northland, which is sad to hear, isn't it? That sort of money's getting between good beekeeping and crazy. Because we actually went up to the Whangarei Bee Club, didn't we, Margaret? In the little beehive, and they were telling us there that there's a lot of issues up there with people coming in and they're like sort of taking over areas, and the farmers are paying more money for sites and stuff. It's just becoming quite cutthroat, and I suspect that's why all the tension's been happening up there with the people have been poisoning hives and stealing hives and all that sort of stuff. So it's sad, isn't it, that it's come to that.
What about that sensational story about that guy who claimed that the bees were stealing his manuka?
Oh,
I just couldn't believe that. I mean...
Oh, he was annoyed because people were sticking beehives near his property and flying over his fence and selling his manuka.
Yeah. I mean, how can you tell a bee, oh, no, don't go there?
Yeah, I know. No, it's crazy, eh?
I thought it was just amazing. And
I guess the answer to that is he could put his hives closer to the manuka.
Well, I don't even know if the guy had hives. I can't remember.
I think he was hoping to get some.
Well, I think that he wouldn't be at any loss if he had his neighbours having bees as well. I think he'd probably be at a benefit, because once those bees start going to the manuka, they'll just flourish.
Yeah, true.
You know, the amount of flowering we had this year over Christmas was just incredible. We had a really good, show of buds and flowers, and it's just been beautiful.
Yeah, and so, some of our bees actually went up to Kaitai, didn't they?
Yeah, we sold, when we opened our online shop, we sold everything out in the first week, so it was really amazing. We sold 6 fully working beehives. So our call out to our new beekeepers is to, what, Gary? Start treatment.
Yeah. Get ready for winter. Make sure the bees have got a lot of feed.
Yep.
I think it'll be different up north, but they probably have a lot less bad days than we do. But then again, it does flood quite a bit up north, eh?
Yeah, they've had terrible flooding up in Northland, and I haven't heard of any issues with people losing hives through the flooding, but I think they're quite used to it, so I think they'll probably locate the hives in a safe place.
Well, at the moment, it's actually been declared a drought up there this week.
Oh, okay.
But over winter, they have shocking flooding, because I know we used to go camping near Kaiho, and every winter it seems to flood. So to the point where they had to raise the rugby club up to 2 stories.
Well, interestingly, after you saying that we've had flooding up there, across the whole of the Auckland council area, they have a fire ban because we have had no rain, and that's really unusual for Auckland because we usually have gallons of rain falling. So, and I mean, I've even lost plants through this heat, and they're just not coping with it.
It's been very hot. We've actually had to fill up our water bowl, haven't we, for the bees?
Constantly. I think it should have been filled today, but I think the reality
is... We did fill it up, but Louise knocked it over. Louise is our goat, by the way. But we will put another one out there tomorrow.
Oh, definitely. And when I was working on the second hive, it's actually 2 full depth boxes and 2 3/4. I got halfway through and I couldn't carry on. It was just too hot, so I had to close up the hive and walk away. And the bees were not happy with me even going near the hive today, and they followed me, and I had to sit.
They followed me over to where you were, where I was.
And they were just like buzzing me and wouldn't let me alone, and so I just had to wait until they got bored. And it took about 20 minutes, so yeah. Yeah,
I haven't been very well lately, unfortunately. I had some sort of flu or something, so
yeah.
I didn't really do the bees today. I've been working in the workshop.
Yeah.
But yeah, the visit to the Whangarei Bee Club went really well, didn't it? Went really well, didn't it? We were talking about the vaporizer, and it was great to meet Kevin and Dennis up there, and and meet all the people.
Yeah,
It seems like an amazing club, doesn't it?
I think the thing that I admired greatly is that it was organised, but yet it was still very informative, and the way they set up their membership was because they have they have their full members, and then they have probationary members, because of the issues that are going on up at the Whangarei area and up north, that they're trying to make sure that the people who are coming are actually legitimate beekeepers, rather than people trying to, I don't know, pull one over on each other or something, or try and undermine what's going on up there.
Yeah.
So the system is that you become a probationary beekeeper with them, and you do that for a year, and then if you meet their criteria, then you become a full member.
Yeah.
So I can understand that with the issues that they're dealing with, that's a good way to go. And they had lots of information, and they had a bit of produce there, and we bought some honey, which was beautiful.
Yeah, it was nice.
Yeah, and so we Gary did a little bit of a talk and show the vaporizer, and we had a lot of interest afterwards, and just explaining how it works. And also we talked about the kiwimana mesh board and showing people how we use that, and I think that people were really enjoying that.
Yeah.
And
Stuff.
I also had a conversation with David, one of the guys there, and he works with land, I think it's an organic fertilizer company or something, and he said that he would be interested in coming to do a talk. And I thought once we start getting the gardening blogs underway, that I might have a chat with him about him coming on and having a talk, or maybe do a blog with him. So yeah, lots of exciting things this year, guys.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
And it was quite cool because the New Zealand Police gave us a memento, didn't they, of our trip up there?
Oh, yes, that's good on you, Gary.
But we put that on our Facebook page, so if anybody's on Facebook, check it out. It's the kiwimana. No, it's not kiwimana buzz. It's facebook.com/kiwimana buzz, and you can have a look at the famous photo of us heading on our way to the Whangarei Bee Club.
And the New Zealand Police acknowledgement of the speed we travelled.
Yes. I mean, we weren't really going that fast, were we? I mean,
it was only 3 kilometres over the tolerant speed level. So,
but it's all good. It just proves that the beehive car can actually go over the speed limit slightly. A lot of people out there say, "Can you actually get to 50 in that?" And that's proof, you see.
They're just cheeky, that's all.
That's true. And speaking of cheeky, we've got there's a famous, he's not famous, he's like a finance person in New Zealand, so I don't know what the hell he's got to do with cats, but anyway, he's launching a campaign to eradicate domestic cats.
Oh, so, that's sensationalism, isn't it?
What do you think of that? It's crazy, isn't it?
Well, I think the media have really sensationalised it, like he wants every cat killed. But what he actually said when he was interviewed was, his name's Gareth Morgan, and he is trying to help save New Zealand native species. And what he has obviously had information and done some research is showing that domesticated cats in New Zealand are actually eating our native species, which are things like our geckos, our native birds, fantails, tuis, and
probably kiwis.
I believe that they have been shown to have gone into nests, and the
Kakabeak?
No,
It's a parrot thing.
Yeah.
Kakapo.
Apparently they go into the nests and they eat them, and I think it's the, oh gosh, I can't even remember the name of the bird.
We'll come back to that. But anyway, he's quite a funny character, and he actually turned up to the, at the moment we've got the Rugby Sevens here in Wellington, which is like, it's rugby, but it's, 20 minutes aside with 7 people in each team?
Yeah, Rugby Sevens.
And he turned up to that dressed up as a cat, so,
I think that it's good for him to play on what is going on, because I believe that there is some sincerity about what he's saying. He's not saying go out and kill the cats. He's saying that if you have a cat now, don't get a new one when your one passes.
Yeah.
So I think that there makes some sense in that.
I think he's got some good points.
Yeah, there are some good points. And then there's the other side of the coin. When you look at what cats do, they catch a lot of mice and rats. And, what would happen if we didn't have the cats there to get the mice and rats? And we've also got rabbits here which are not native to New Zealand, and the cats also hunt them. So, there's an argument for both sides. I'm sort of where we live, because we are in a lot of native land. We decided consciously not to get another cat. When we lost our other one and came back from England, we said, no, we're not going to get a cat. So we already made that decision because we understand what the domesticated cat can do.
That's true. And the next story we had was blue gloves make elephant hands.
I have no idea what that is about.
Oh, well, if you'd read the blog post, you would have known what that meant.
Share it with me, Gary.
Well, I bought these new gloves, and then I have since discovered, which I sort of already knew anyway, that the most attractive colour to bees is yellow and blue. So what happened is the bees were landing on the top of my gloves, which was a blue material thing, and getting stuck in it and stinging me. So I must have got about 2 or 3 stings in each hand. So by the end of the day, this is a couple of weeks ago, by the end of the day my hands look like elephant hands.
Yeah, it
And
looked pretty horrific, folks. We have no photos.
oh, there's photos.
Oh my
There's photos.
God.
If you look on the blog, there's photos.
Oh no, yeah, check out the blog, guys.
Yeah, check out the show notes for kiwimana/14. So it's kiwimana.co.nz/14 for the show notes.
Okay.
And the next day we went to the Frank and Blair Club because we got woken up by Peter, didn't we, to go along?
Yeah, we got the call to come down south, and we took up the call and
We did.
headed off in the beehive.
Yep. And we didn't get any more stings, did we? Because I just watched from afar.
Yeah, indeed.
I just watched the experts doing stuff, so that was good.
I just want to talk a bit about the Franklin Bee Club.
Okay, yep.
The Franklin Bee Club are more located within a more rural area, and they have their particular club is located. It was next to an old milking shed, and what the club have done is they have been allowed by the owner of the land to develop the milk shed into an extraction unit and tidy it up for the club. And it's they've done a wonderful job. And now,
looks good.
Yeah, when we do inspections of the hive, it's a much cleaner area, and it won't be affected so much by the weather like we have done before, huddling in the old little shed.
Oh yeah,
remember that?
That was funny.
That was really. We got really close to some of the guys at that time, but now we've got the big shed there. It's looking really good. They've done a wonderful work on it. So well done, Franklin Bee Club. It's looking good and
it looks fantastic.
Yeah,
and
exciting stuff for the future.
There's new photos on there, and I think they're going to have an extraction plan, aren't they, for the use of the members?
Yep. So they're working on how they're going to put that in and maybe get a toilet facility as well. So that'll be awesome.
Yeah, awesome. No, there are a good bunch of people down there, aren't they? So if you're in the Franklin area or the Auckland area, check it out. If you check out the blog post, you can get a link to their website.
The other thing too is that we have a really good conversation afterwards. We go to a cafe and we have a cup of tea and a bit of lunch and everything, and we just have a bit of a casual chat with our friends down there after the club meeting, and, that's really great. So if you do come along, you're always welcome to join us for a coffee. Yep.
And we can compare elephant hands.
Absolutely.
Yep, that's true. And the other popular article this month was, we wrote an article called What is Drone Comb? And why we manage it. So that's quite important, isn't it? Yeah, definitely. You find that varroa mites actually prefer drone comb, so they go into the drone comb, and
why is that, Gary?
Because the gestation period of a drone bee is a lot longer.
Absolutely.
How many days is that?
I can't remember.
24, I think. 24.
Okay. And that's the thing. It's part of that integrated pest management program that we've been working on, and this year we'll put that in place. It's something that we want to get worked out quite clearly, because with our new bee buddies, we've got a good framework to start working with them on it and applying it, because not only have you got the drone management side of things, but you've got your inspections, you've got your treatments, and all the reasoning behind those things that you're doing, providing the bees with good ventilation, all those things that make up a good pest management system. So
yeah, true.
Yeah,
and we actually sell a drone management frame, so you can manage your drones that way, they're quite popular. We actually sold some to a guy in Wanaka today, didn't we?
Yeah, how many did he get?
2.
I personally think that they are so easy to use too, because you don't worry about cutting it out, because there's no wire in it, so you can just cut the whole comb out and just chuck it back in the box, and then you can take it away and inspect while it's not in the hive. So I think it's really handy, and as I said, it's also a good indicator if there's not enough room in the hive if they're putting honey in it.
Yeah, and it is a good way to count them too, isn't it? If you count, is it 1 in 10? If more than 25% have got mites, there's a problem or something. But you'd have to research that. Yeah,
well, the mesh board as well helps you with that.
Yeah.
But I think you need to have several things that you do to ensure that the bees are healthy, because we're not only talking about varroa, we're talking about disease. And what we found is a lot of the hives that we found that have got disease are usually ones with solid bottom boards.
Yeah, I think that's probably to do with the ventilation, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Over winter they get very mouldy.
Yeah, and I think that in the old days, a lot of the beekeepers used to say, "Oh, don't worry about it, that's normal, and the bees will clean that up." But unfortunately, because that mould holds a lot of spores and funguses and everything like that, we can't really risk that being inside the hive anymore. So we have had no mould in any of our hives with the kiwimana mesh board, and we've also been using the quilt level for the ventilation side of things. The quilt level, I think, is something that we need to consider over winter as well, and we used it this winter, we did a field test for that.
Yeah, we need to make some more, don't we?
Yeah. So I think that you have to do several things and to keep your hive healthy, and we did an inspection at one of the bee buddies, and we found that because the hive was so hot, we opened up some cells and we found dead bees. And what happened is, and also because it was, the population in the hive was so great, they were actually pushing the top of the cappings of the brood down, so the cappings looked like they were flat.
Yeah.
And it's sort of like, oh, okay, that's an indication of things not being too good. So
just the heat.
Yeah, it was the heat, and the baby bees were actually dying inside the cells because they were far too hot. And so.
But which hive was that?
It was one of the bee buddies that I went and did an inspection on, and we decided to get someone in to have a look at it just to make sure we were on the right track.
Okay.
Just to make sure there was no disease in the hive, because it's something that I haven't seen.
Yeah, fair enough.
Haven't seen before, because it was just really interesting to see that that the heat makes a big impact on how the bees behave in the hive.
Yeah, true. Right, well that's it for the news. We're just going to the feedback now. We've got an iTunes review, which is great, 4 stars. Congratulations, Margaret.
Woohoo! Yay!
It was from New Zealand Audrey, and she says, great podcast for local New Zealand conditions. Thanks, and keep up the great work. So thanks, Audrey, for that. That's fantastic. And we also got a feedback from Karen Britton, and she said, great site, Kiwimana. Good on you, mate.
Oh, awesome. Oh, we love that Kiwi. Good on ya.
Yeah, so that's fantastic. So if you guys want to leave some iTunes feedback, you can go kiwimana.co.nz/iTunes or search for Kiwimana in your iTunes thing, because I think that link goes to the New Zealand site. So it'd be really awesome if we get some reviews from other countries, because we've only so far only got them in New Zealand, but that's probably where most of our listeners are, I guess.
Yeah, but interestingly enough, we've learnt a lot from our overseas counterparts who are doing a lot of things over there that we pick up on, and we've been applying some of that within our apiary, and that's why we really love to hear from
like the quilt
overseas
levels.
Yeah, and just even the wasp guard that we we put together. That was an inspiration from over in the USA, eh?
Yeah, that was from Kevin from the BK Corner podcast.
Yeah, and that's been a real interesting product, because you can also use it if you're moving your hives, eh, Gary?
You could. Yeah.
Yeah, because the bees, when they come out of the hive, you put the wasp guard in the front, and the bees reorientate themselves. So, yeah, because there was a bit of discussion about reorientation and moving hives and whether you need to do it 3 feet or 3 miles, wasn't there, at the Franklin Bee Club?
Yeah. Yeah, well, they had great success with putting a bushy branch in front of the entrance, didn't they?
Yeah, I think it's the same principle.
Yeah.
You put something in front of them and they have to what's this? And then they go and check it out, and then they reorientate. And I think that's what the wasp guard does as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's, interesting stuff that's going on.
It surely is. Well, and just in closing, our contact details, if you're not listening to this on our website, our website is kiwimana, that's Kiwimana, and that kiwi is just kiwi, and mana means spirit for people overseas, because a lot of people don't know what that means.
Yeah, check out our website where we talk to you about kiwimana.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
That's right. And
on what page would that be, Gary?
I think it's about, is it About Us page?
Well.
I think so. Was it? I don't know. It's there somewhere. I remember writing it. And it's
About Us. Check out About Us.
Absolutely. And our email address is info@kiwimana.co.nz. So drop us a line if you want to be part of the blog writers, or if you want to be interviewed on the podcast. Give us an email.
Yeah, we'd love it. Love to hear from you.
Yep. And review us on iTunes. And the other thing we would really love people to do this week is our Facebook page. It's facebook.com/KiwiManaBuzz. Check out our Facebook page and like us if you like us.
Yeah. And we always put interesting photos on when you're out there, Gary.
Yeah, well, we tend to put a lot of news stories, news from overseas and news from New Zealand, sort of local news stories, and funny photos of Margaret doing the beekeeping, and
okay.
What other photos have we put on there? Oh, we had one today.
Bacon and eggs.
Bacon and eggs photos, always popular.
Yeah.
And we put a photo today of robbing bees, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you're on Facebook, check us out there, and we'd love a like.
We'd love a like.
Yeah, we'd love a
love.
Like it. Yeah, but there's no such thing. It's only likes. But
anyway,
anything else
awesome.
you want to say, Margaret, before we go?
Oh, just really thank you to all our new customers, and we've had lots of people coming to the Kiwimana HQ to come and meet us and pick up their stuff. And we just really love it, and thank you so much. And watch this space, because we're going to be introducing new products this year, and the gardening blogs coming up, all organic, homeowners,
absolutely.
And we're really, really excited where we're going this year. So thanks everyone, and enjoy.
Yep, thanks everyone, and just remember, if you need any beehives, give us a call, because we need our lounge back, don't we, Margaret?
We do.
So thanks everyone for listening.
See ya.
See you next month.
See ya.
Bye.